You ever wish you had more hands to do more stuff? Hello again, Rashid Hamid here from Extra Hands Virtual Assistants, and I've got good news.
Drum roll, please.
We've been invited back to be regular guests on your favorite podcast, Life Uncensored, navigating adulthood one episode at a time, featuring our special segment, B2B with Extra Hands, where we focus on business-to-business relationships, growing your business, and basically getting unstuck. Take it from me, productivity coach and founder of Extra Hands Virtual Assistants.
Count me in.
Our first episode is scheduled to be shot and released on December the 11th. Really excited to have you guys check it out. It's going to be an amazing thing, partnering with Amanda, partnering with Extra Hands. It was a match made in heaven, felt supernatural, and very excited to be a part of this team. You don't want to miss this.
Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Amanda Lockhart Davis with Life Uncensored, navigating adulthood one episode at a time. There's nobody riding shotgun today. It's just me, Amanda Lockhart Davis. And as you see, I'm dressed a little different today. I have on my JAX Consulting Services shirt, repping the company, JAX Consulting Services, so you can get back to business. That is my company. And today we are going to be talking about my entrepreneurship journey and what it's like, what's going on with it, how it's been, how it started, thoughts of an entrepreneur. That's what we're calling today's episode. And my hope is to enlighten some, answer some questions for some, and just really just get those juices flowing for those who have not started the journey of entrepreneurship, but are thinking about it. Or those of you who have started and just want to hear from someone like you. So with that being said, we're going to jump right on into it, okay? One of the things that I want to talk about is my journey to entrepreneurship. I left the corporate world in December of 2023. So January 2024, completely on my own, fully engaged, full-time, 100% into entrepreneurship. I founded JAX Consulting Services in August of 2023. And it has been quite a journey so far. There are good times, there are some uncertain times, but the journey has been fulfilling, and I'm really, really glad about it. What prompted me to start my business? First things first, I've always had an entrepreneur hidden deep inside of me. Since I was very young, young, maybe I think earliest thoughts of entrepreneurship, maybe around 10 years old. And in my mind, whatever business I started was going to somehow incorporate the names of my children, the name or names of my children. Fast forward to August 2023, and that's exactly what I did. JAX, JAX, stands for John or Jonathan, Alexander, and Xavier, my three children, oldest to youngest, my three boys. And the muse to this particular venture started with my second born, Alexander, who started his own clothing line and business back in 2021 while we were in the midst of a pandemic. And he's done nothing but flourished ever since. Check him out. TheMisfitLLC.net is his website. And The Misfit LLC is where you can find him on Instagram. The Misfit LLC. And basically what happened was my son started participating in pop-up shops. For those of you who aren't familiar with pop-up shops, basically it's exactly what it sounds like. Business owners take a portion, if not all, of their business, and they set up vendor tables or vendor spaces at particular pop-up shops. And at these pop-up shops, you'll see a plethora of businesses. You'll see candle makers, clothes makers, shoe sellers, perfume, you name it, all types of things. He particularly likes to target the sneaker pop-up shops because his clothing design right now is focused on streetwear. And I'm that mom. I come from a big family and we show up for everybody's events. The nephews, nieces, grandkids, everybody's events, everybody's there for. And so that's something that's been instilled in me since I was very, very young. And so I'm that mom. I'm at every game. I don't care if it's a shoe tying contest. I'm whatever my kids are involved in, I'm there. Period. Cheering from the stands, helping out, volunteering, whatever it takes to support my children. So I would go to these pop-up shops with my son Alex. And after, I don't know, maybe two or three of them, I started looking around the room and just understanding what was around me, the different entrepreneurs, young, old, black, white. Um, and one thing that I noticed as I went around and just struck up conversations with different folks at these pop-up shops was that there was a need for understanding back office functions. So a lot of these folks don't understand that or don't know that there's such thing as accounts payable, accounts receivable, that there's such thing as 1099 processing, unclaimed property processing, just back office stuff that you don't think about because you don't know to think about these things. So with that being said, as I went around talking to these people, I said, that's what I do. I've spent well over 25 years in accounting and in finance, doing back office functions, accounts payable, accounts receivable, budgeting, profit and loss, things of that nature. In addition to that, notarizations, right? There's so many back office functions that up and coming entrepreneur, they're just not aware of. And you don't know what you don't know until it's time to know it, until something happens, you get smacked on the hand, something comes up that you realize, oh, that's a thing. And so I wanted to bring awareness to my community, to those small business owners, those entrepreneurs, those boutique shops, where it's just one person running the show, and help them. Because one of the things that's hard about entrepreneurship is the fact that you are everybody. You are the president, you are the marketing exec, you are finance and accounting, you are the receptionist, the scheduler, your public relations, your client onboarding, you're everything. So my tagline, so you can get back to business, basically means you go be the face of your business. You focus on your product, your service, while my company, JAX Consulting Services, handles some of the back office functions to take those things off your plate. The accounting, the notarizations, the 1099s, things like that. So that's pretty much what made me say, I'm going to start a business because there's a need for these boutique owners, small businesses, medium businesses as well, entrepreneurs, for back office functions. So that's my story on how I got started, what lit my fire. And then just frankly, being around those people just energized me. Like, I can do this. This is something I can do. So I started, I think in June, getting things started, the LLC, my tax ID for my business, branding. And I'm one of those people where I'm full steam ahead. When I decide on something, I am full steam ahead. So I got the website set up. I got business cards. I got the logo. I got the phone number, the email address, created my social media accounts. Like, I was full steam ahead. And so that was my start. That was my start. Some of the challenges and rewards of running your own business. Listen, I have a colleague, Shanae Jackson, shout out to Shanae, who was on my podcast, I think back in September. And one of the things that she said, which is one of the truest things I've ever heard in my life, entrepreneurship is not sexy. And it's not. It's not for the weak. It's not for the meek. Entrepreneurship is for the go-getter, the person that can hear a no, feel a little disappointed for a couple of minutes, and then get right back to it because they know that there's other yeses around the corner. And for me, one of the rewards of running my own business is that my time is my own. I was able to join my youngest son's PTSO and be involved in that. Something that I wasn't able to do with my older two children. My boys are 26, 22, and 9. Yeah, I know. I was tackled at the 1 yard line, but that's neither here nor there. um, and I wasn't able to do that with my older boys, be as involved as I would have liked to have been with their school um, or schools because I had a full-time job. I was full-time job and full-time mom next, and there just wasn't enough hours in the day. But now running my own business, my time is literally my own. Today, for example, after I dropped my son off to school, my youngest, met up with some of the PTSO members, um, and we hit the pavement. The PTSO is brand new. They were disbanded, I think, like 10 years ago. And so a new one has been created and started up just this school year. And we hit the pavement, knocking on doors of local businesses, asking for donations to help us help our students and our teachers in our community. I wouldn't have been able to do that in the corporate world without asking for PTO, asking for permission, XYZ. So the fact that my time is my own is invaluable to a person like me. Being able to hop on the road with my kid, take him to Chuck E. Cheese during spring break this year. Our little cousins were down from Cleveland, and we spent the whole week just each day doing something different, hitting Dave and Buster's, hitting all the different places they wanted to hit during spring break. And I didn't have to take off time and hope that I accumulated enough time to take off. Didn't have to ask anybody. I didn't have to make sure certain things were done and give them over to someone. I just was like, okay, well, this week we're closed. And that was it, right? The other thing that is rewarding for a person like me in terms of running a business is I get to make my own rules. For example, during the summer, I changed my hours. Fridays, JAX Consulting was closed during the summer. And every other day was a shortened day, right? So being able to do that, being able to pivot, being able to work with a client whose budget might be a little tight and being able to say, you know what, don't you worry, I'm going to work with you. And not having to go ask for permission or persuade or just flat out turn them away because I know that my management is going to turn their nose up at that or say, no, I am my own management. So being able to work with clients, help them, talk with them, make those rules for myself, even if it's as you go, make your own rules. I'm able to do that, obviously within the constraints of what's legal, of course, but those things are just huge for me. Challenges would be you are everyone. You are the everyman. And in my case, the everymanda in your business. Like I said earlier, you're accounting and finance, you're the marketing exec, you're the receptionist, scheduler, you are client relations, you are public relations, you are everything. And that can be challenging because there's certain aspects that of a business for anybody, corporate world or not, you can't possibly be an expert at everything. I am not an expert at marketing. I know a couple of things because I've been around the block a time or two in business, but I am not an expert. I don't know what the hot thing is for today. So having to do the research and, it all takes time. And so having to do that research and figure it out on your own and hope you get to the right people who can help you or finding resources that can help you. And those resources don't necessarily have to be paid. They can be free resources, but you don't know they're out there if you don't know they're out there. So doing the research, whereas someone who is heavily involved in the marketing field already knows right off the top of their head, oh, this is the thing to do. This is where you want to go. This is who you want to target. Those sort of things. It makes it a little bit harder for someone when it's not your particular um, field of expertise, right? I am a SME in accounting and finance and accounts payable, accounts receivable, things like that. So a fellow business owner, that might not be their niche. Their niche might be the marketing. Their mindset might be client relations, public relations, things like that, but not the accounting side. That's where I come in. And all businesses suffer from that. And I use the word suffer on purpose because it can get hard when you're trying to figure out something that you have no foundation of. So that's one of the things that is challenging, or that I find challenging as it pertains to entrepreneurship. But I also enjoy the learning of it, because you always want to be, even though you might not be the expert, you always want to be dangerous enough to have a conversation with someone, understand what's going on with your business, right? You don't want to just hand something off and blindly walk away. Think about it. That's how we have all these celebrities in tax trouble, who have been in prison, who have been heavily fined because they hired a tax person, they handed off their stuff, and come to find out their tax person was shady, was doing things they weren't supposed to do, was pocketing money, and their taxes weren't getting paid because they just fully 100% blindly trusted someone else, which I don't think necessarily is a bad thing. But if they had the understanding, even basic understanding and premise of their own business taxes, they would know what to look for and know how to supervise. I put in air quotes, supervise what was going on with their business, right? Their brand. So that's my challenges and rewards for running a business, being an entrepreneur. Financial literacy. Financial literacy is so crucial. Just the basics, even, is so crucial when running a business. And it's so crucial, especially for new business owners. Knowing that and having conversations with people in my community who are entrepreneurs. One of the other things I realized or came to know was that there was a lack of basic financial literacy, understanding budgeting, tracking expenses and revenue, understanding profit and loss, how to pay yourself a salary, when to pay yourself a salary once you've started your business, what to do with potential 1099 contractors that you bring on to help you with other facets of your business. There was just so much that was lacking in terms of knowledge and understanding amongst the folks that I encountered through my travels, who are running their own business. And the face of it is great. They're selling their products, their services easily, fast, they're making money, but what to do with it? And one of the things that comes to mind when I think about that specifically is those college athletes. They come out of college, they go into the pros, they get their first check, it's $1 million. They have no idea what to do with this $1 million. And before you know it, it is gone, because they didn't understand the basics of financial literacy. So knowing that prompted me to write 2 workbooks specifically: The Basics of Financial Literacy, A Healthy Money Mindset, and The Basics of Financial Literacy, A Healthy Money Mindset for Teens and Young Adults. This is the version for more mature adults. It's really in depth. It goes deep into budgeting, savings, banking and accounts, credit management, debt management, goal setting for your finances, emergency preparedness, things like that. And then the teens version, the teen and young adult version, still hits on those same topics, but in a more palatable, digestible way, so that a teen or young adult isn't overwhelmed by information overload. And these two workbooks are available on Amazon right now. Again, the basics of financial literacy, a healthy money mindset for teens and young adults, and the basics of financial literacy, a healthy money mindset. So these workbooks I've already noticed have helped so many. My ultimate goal is to get into some middle schools and some high schools, get into my communities, maybe community centers, libraries, things like that, and teach even the general public, not even just business owners, but even just the general public, because that's something that I feel, or in my experience at least, is lacking in our school systems today. That financial literacy is not a required class, or it's not an offered class at all. So for business owners, why I say it's crucial is because you do need to understand savings for your business, credit and debt management for your business, how to pay your own salary, how to pay your 1099 contractors that do other things for you within your business, um, how to understand and how to create a nest egg for emergencies. Um, I think that if more people had a better understanding of just the basics, and when I say basics, I'm excluding invest investment properties, things on that higher level. But really, the things that I mentioned a few moments ago, I think that if we were in a place, or more people were in a place where they had that management, there would be such less hardships and such less learning the hard way and figuring it out on your own, and learning the hard way again and figuring it out on your own again. Because once again, you don't know what you don't know. So that's just an important piece of it. And again, those two workbooks, if interested, are available on Amazon currently. Um, Very reasonable prices. So check me out. You can also go to my website. It's scrolling across the bottom here, www.jax-consulting.com. That's JAX-consulting.com. And there's links there as well for you to be able to look into and purchase those workbooks. Um, let's talk about foundational building for back office services. The value of back office support, in my opinion, is grossly underrated, even in businesses, even in big businesses, big established businesses. And I'm saying that as someone who was in the corporate world for many, many moons and working in the accounting and finance department, very frankly, is a thankless job. Accounts payable specifically. And shout out to all of my accounts payable employees, whether you are a specialist, a clerk, um, manager, supervisor, or any piece of accounts payable that you touch, vendor management and maintenance. And it's a thankless job because you can pay a million things on time, no problem, no issues. No one applauds. No one pats you on the back. No one says thanks. No one says great job. It's just supposed to happen. But the second one payment is missed or one payment is late, the whole world knows about it. There's scrutiny, there's problems, everybody's angry. You've got to rebuild your reputation. And it's so disheartening. It's so disheartening. People think that it's easy, but it's not, because if it were, everybody'd be doing it. You have to keep up with so much. You have to make sure that the correct vendors are being paid, because there's a lot of vendors out here, or a lot of businesses that have similar or same names. My business is JAX Consulting Services. Well, guess what? And it's capital J, capital A, capital X. But guess what? There's a JAX Consulting out there. Capital J, lowercase a, lowercase x. Out there. So it could be very easy to select the wrong vendor or have the wrong vendor. Collecting tax information so that you can pay the right vendor and properly report your taxes on 1099s later on in the year. That's imperative. Getting correct approvals. And there's just so much that goes into making sure that bills are paid timely that is taken for granted. And one of the things, and I'm sure anybody who's been in the AP world has said, is how do they pay their own bills at home? Like, do they not know? How? I know I've said it 100 times if I've said it once. And having a strong foundation built with your back office, and that's, again, your accounts payable, your accounts receivable, your marketing team, your notarizations is another thing that people take for granted. Unclaimed property processing. Unclaimed property, a lot of smaller businesses, boutique shops, entrepreneurs don't realize that unclaimed property is basically you've written a check or you've sent someone money and that money hasn't cleared your bank. And it just sits there and sits there and sits there dormantly for a certain amount of time. Well, that helps your bottom line keeping up with that. And I can talk on and on. I can talk for days about this stuff. I won't bore you with it, but just knowing these functions exist is imperative to a new up and coming business owner, because there's compliance that you have to keep up with, state and federal, in some places, locality, city, county. And knowing that these functions exist is, quite frankly, half the battle. Everybody remember G.I. Joe, those millennials, and there's some people who are watching G.I. Joe. Knowing is half the battle. And that's very true as it pertains to back office functions. So this is something that I offer in my business, with JAX Consulting Services, because I know that there's a lot of things that people don't know that they don't know. Or even where to start. They might know about it, but they don't know where to start. And so that's where JAX Consulting Services comes in to help. Setting budgets, tracking your finances as a business owner. Woo! Woo! To some, it's overwhelming. It's a daunting task. It's scary even, but it is imperative. It is so imperative. One of the things that I realized was important as I gained more and more clients, where I was hearing the same thing. I need help with my budget. I need help with tracking my expenses and my income or my revenue. I need help. I need help. I need help. And so on my website, jax-consulting.com, I have added some free downloadable content that basically has some spreadsheets, some easy to use spreadsheets for budgeting and finance. And I'll share those with you now just so you can get an idea here of what I'm talking about. This right here is one of the monthly income and expense trackers that I've created that you can find on my website under free downloadable content. And as you see, it's some lines there for revenue or income, some expense line items, and you can add to this or you can take away from this based on your needs. And it gives you a balance. What's the bottom line after you've brought in the revenue and you've had the expenditures? What's left? And I even put a handy dandy chart for quick review and reference there, so you can see what that all looks like. And it goes across the months. Something that I feel like is a good resource, easy to use, easy to understand. My website here, again, jax-consulting.com. If you click on the little hamburger or the three lines on the top left of the screen, you go to free downloads. You just pop in your email address. That's all that's needed is you just pop in your email address and that information will come up. All right. So just keep that in mind, because that is a handy tool, in my opinion, that can definitely help you out. And not just for business owners, but also for individual households. You can use this as a personal tool for yourself if you're ready to get yourself back on track, and you can use it in your business as well. So keep that in mind, because I think it is a great tool to have in your back pocket, have handy for you. Listen, there's some people who are like, oh, I don't know nothing about Excel. I am not handy when it comes to that type of technology or spreadsheets or whatnot. Again, that's where JAX is here to help. We offer free consultations, or we sit down, talk with you, discuss and understand your needs, and take it from there. So keep that in mind, because we want to take the scary out of your back office functions. Moving right along, lessons that I've learned from starting JAX Consulting Services. Um, I think the hardest lesson that I've learned for myself is that I had to, but I'm still continuing to work on it, build my marketing yourself muscle, right? Marketing myself muscle. I am the type of person who I can talk to anybody and everybody. I'm not shy, I'm outgoing. When it comes to talking about my services myself, it's hard because I don't want to come off like a used car salesman, so to speak, right? Or like I'm pushing or being pushy or anything like that. So it's hard for me. But I've had so many people say to me, Amanda, you literally can sell water to a well just by the way you told us how such and such movie was, or just because you came back and told us how your experience was at X store or X event. So I'm out here marketing for everybody and everything else, but it's hard for me to do it for me because I don't want to feel like I'm being pushy. But as a business owner, that's how I have to eat, right? I have to eat some way, which is marketing myself, putting myself out there, talking about my business, my services, what I offer in order to attract clients, um, so that I can sustain and pay my bills and eat and feed my family, right? So that's a muscle that I didn't realize I had to build, because I, in general, just love talking to people, which is why I started my podcast. Like, I love to talk to people and hear their stories and walk down the road with them of their lives and their experiences. I love to do that. And I love to share if I see something that's great, or it's a great product, a great service. I love to share that with everybody because I want everybody to have good experiences, right? But doing it for myself was a hard pill to swallow. It's becoming much easier, but it's still intimidating. It's still a little scary. So building that muscle was one of the hardest lessons I've had to learn, um, because it's not something that comes easy to me. Um, and then knowing my own worth, right? As an entrepreneur, you think, oh, I didn't get that sale. Oh, I'm not getting, any clients, or I'm not getting as many clients as I would like to within a certain amount of time. I'm going to lower my prices, lower my prices, lower my prices, and keep lowering them. No, know your worth. One of the things I talk to about my son who has his clothing line is your material is quality, your product is quality, your ideas are quality. And so many other people, strangers, have walked up to him and said that to him, unsolicited. And I said, so don't lower your prices just because business is a little skimpy this month. Sometimes it be like that. Sometimes it be like that. There's highs and lows, hills and valleys of entrepreneurship, and that's okay. But don't lower your worth because you think that's going to gain you more visibility or clients. Is it okay to have sales here and there? Absolutely, but just as a general rule of thumb to continue to lower your prices or your worth, you have to know your worth and stand by it, stick to it, because there is a market out there. There are customers, clients out there, buyers out there who want what you got. And you think about it. You go into a Nike store, a Foot Locker store, there's shoes being sold for hundreds of dollars. People buy shoes for hundreds, thousands of dollars to wear them once, and sometimes not even wear them all at all, just to be able to say that they have them. So if places like the Nike store, the Foot Locker store, places like McDonald's, Burger King, what have you, can up their prices, but they don't lose customers, you can do the same as an entrepreneur. Think about it. Back in the day, and I know I'm dating myself, you can get a burger from McDonald's for 59 cents. That is no longer our reality. Obviously, inflation, obviously, times have changed. People are being paid more. Cost of living is different. But the point I'm making and the illustration I'm trying to get you to see in your mind's eye is that never slow down the business for McDonald's, for these fast food conglomerates. People keep going because they want what you got, right? So keep that in mind for yourself as an entrepreneur, because that is, I think for me, it was a good lesson to learn when the first time I had a client that was, a potential client that was interested, and I went to tell my prices. It was like, and so this is how much it'll be. And then I waited for, I braced for the, oh no, that's too much or something like that. That didn't happen, but that's what I was bracing. I was scared for myself that they were going to say, oh no, I don't want to pay that. And each time I spoke with a client and gave them my prices, it got a little easier, to the point now where it's flat out, okay, these are my prices. How does that work for you? And again, that doesn't mean you're not willing to adjust or help out the client or whatnot, but just knowing your worth and knowing that your product or your service is worth it, that's a big win for you personally. That's a huge win. Once you are confident within yourself that your product or your service is worth it, the rest is easy. So just keep that in mind as well as you embark on your own journey. If you're out there, or if you know someone out there who's getting ready to embark on this entrepreneurship journey or is already within it and they're struggling with that subject. But there are different lessons to be learned as an entrepreneur, and everyone's journey is different. Never compare your journey to someone else's journey. Never say, oh, well, we started at the same time, I should be here by now the way they are. Or we're doing the same thing, offering the same thing. How come they're further along than I am? Never compare yourself. Your journey is yours to have, and their journey is theirs to have. And that's it. And that's okay. Because once you arrive, baby, you arrive. And that is the bee's knees. It's a wonderful feeling. With that, I'm going to break for a minute and have a quick commercial break, 1 minute, and we'll be right back. JAX Consulting Services, business solutions for all industries, tailored solutions to fit any size. Check us out on the web, www.jax-consulting.com. Set up a free consultation and see how we can tailor our solutions to your needs. That's www.jax-consulting.com. We can't wait to see you. Take charge of your financial future with our interactive workbooks, The Basics of Financial Literacy, A Healthy Money Mindset, and The Basics of Financial Literacy, A Healthy Money Mindset for Teens and Young Adults. Now available on Amazon. Dive into practical exercises and start building a solid
financial foundation today.
And we are back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. I am super excited about this topic. Thoughts of an entrepreneur. We're just walking down the road of what entrepreneurship or what the entrepreneurship journey has been like for myself, the owner of JAX Consulting Services. The next thing I want to get into is networking. Networking for some folks is a hard thing to do. There's introverts out here who are like, I gotta go meet people, talk to people, whether virtually or in person. Woo, that's exhausting. I don't want to do it. But when I tell you it is worth it, it is worth it. I've been on a bunch of different networking calls. I have been to several networking events to the point where I started having my own or hosting my own. So there are JAX Consulting Services virtual networking events every other month. The next one will be in December of 2024. And it's just a great place to meet like minded individuals who have different industry expertise, who are doing different things in different places, because that's the other part of it, meeting people from the West Coast, East Coast, so on and so on. It's just so great connecting with people and getting ideas, because again, I'm going to keep saying this, I'm going to pound this in as much as I can. You don't know what you don't know. And so there are times where you're just discussing things. Maybe it's marketing strategy. Maybe it's, oh, I'm struggling with my social media platform, and someone can bring up something on a call and the light bulb will go off for you. But when you're doing it alone, you only have your brain, right? It's just you and your brain trying to figure it out. When you get on these networking calls, when you get out there and pound the pavement and meet people and talk to people, and you start putting your heads together, you realize, I had no idea. This is great, and the ideas start to flowing really good, and you start to feel enlightened, and it revs you up, and it revs you up, and it excites you, and it just motivates you. And I think that has been a very good aspect for me and my business, even when there were slow periods of gaining new clients. Meeting with other business owners and talking through certain things was just awesome, because you feel like, man, it's not just me. I'm not the only one struggling this month to gain new clients or get sales. I'm not the only one who had a sucky month in terms of social media engagement, things like that. And you talk through tips and tricks with each other on how to overcome those obstacles. And I'm telling you, it's amazing. Once you do it and you realize that it's not just you, you start to crave it. You start to feel like, oh, I can't wait for the next one, or where can I find another one, or, and there might be networking events that are very specific to your industry. And there are networking events that are not specific to any industry. It's just all entrepreneurs, all small businesses, come as you are. And it's also helpful in word of mouth promotion, which is probably one of the best ways to get your business out there. Just for example purposes, I'm working with a client. I stopped doing business taxes 4 years ago now. And my newest client is asking about taxes. And I have colleagues that I've met through networking that I was able to refer her to, and vice versa. So it's things like that that really, really make a difference. So don't count out networking. Get out there each time, even for my introverted business owner friends, even though it might be exhausting for you mentally, even though it's hard, even though you feel like, oh, this is, I hate doing it. The more you do it, just like anything else, it becomes easier. It becomes second nature. And it is very necessary in business, big, small. Medium, it's very necessary. So don't count out networking, building relationships, nurturing those relationships. And I don't mean arbitrary relationships. I mean someone you really feel like we have a common ground slash goal. I think we can work together. Hey, I might need your services. You might need my services. You have clients that needs my services, vice versa. Um, Nurturing those relationships is a huge feat, huge. Um, and speaking of clients, let's talk about knowing your ideal client, meeting their needs, um, and understanding that it is an ever evolving landscape. You might start out thinking that this group right here is your ideal client. But as you continue to grow, network, meet people, you realize, oh, I didn't even think about this untapped uh, market for clients. That's happened to me even recently. You know, I was targeting certain industries, and there was a whole industry over here off on the side that I never even considered. And someone reached out to me because they heard about me through another friend, and now I'm helping an industry that I hadn't even thought about reaching out to or tapping into. Um, so think about that, right? Figure out who your ideal client is, but be okay with understanding that it might change over time. Look forward to it changing over time, and not necessarily changing in the sense of drop your initial idea of an ideal client, but adding to. All right. The importance of understanding your ideal client as well as aligning your service to address their pain points is crucial, especially when you're first starting out, because you don't want to be all over the place. And when you're having conversations and you're giving your 60-second elevator pitch to a new potential client or customer, you don't want to seem like you're all over the place. You want them to know that you are honed into their specific needs, their specific pain points, and you can help them out. You can address those pain points. You can address those needs. When I tell you, the first time you do that and you see the light bulb go off in that potential client slash customer's head, it fills you up. It excites you. It motivates you. So think about that. Whatever product you have, whatever service you have, who do I want to target? Who do I want to sell to? Who do I want as a client? And not just from their side, but from your side, right? Some people are okay with all clients are good clients. It's because it's money. Not everybody feels that way. But that goes back to what I said earlier about you make your own rules as an entrepreneur. One of the things that I will not tolerate whatsoever from a client or anyone, my contractors that works for me, is unprofessional behavior. And I'm saying that coming from a place where unprofessional behavior in the corporate world was like changing your underwear every day. It was just part of the day. I never understood it. I never got on board with it. Unprofessional behavior has no place with JAX Consulting Services. I don't care how much money you got, how much money you're willing to spend on my services. If I am uncomfortable in any way with how I am being treated, how the people who help me maintain my business are being treated, I will cut ties with you quick, fast, and in a hurry. I refuse to be uncomfortable in my own home, right? And I mean that figuratively and I mean that literally, and I don't want anyone who I have brought on as a 1099 contractor to help me out with my business to feel uncomfortable, because I want them to keep coming back. I want them to keep giving good service. And I also don't want to demonstrate that that's okay and that behavior is okay, right? So just using that as an example, when you think about your ideal client, don't think about just what pain points you can address for them, what services or products you can address for them, but also how you want to be treated as a business, and being sure to reciprocate that you treat them just as professional, using my example, as you want to be treated. Um, and then, as we talked earlier, it's about the ideal client being something that can change and evolve over time. It's the same thing with your services and your offerings. Um, like I mentioned earlier in this episode, one of the things that I didn't offer before that I now offer is budget creation and income and expense tracking. And that came from having clients ask or bring up the subject, or tell me that they were having uh, some pain points in that area, that wasn't their strong suit. And I know it is for me, and I enjoy it. So I added to my service offerings. Your service offerings, your product can evolve over time. And that's a good thing, because that means you're growing. That means you're learning. That means that you're not afraid of change or doing something different, which really is attractive to a customer. Can you meet my immediate needs? And then in the future, to keep me, if my immediate needs change, can you meet those needs? So understanding that services, products should be able to adapt over time to meet challenges that clients face, customers face, to meet the demands of the market, right? Understanding what your competition offers and whether or not you can offer the same thing that they offer or better. You know, all those things make a huge difference in your life as an entrepreneur. The importance of flexibility for business growth is imperative. Don't take that for granted. Don't scoff. Understand, don't be so rigid that you don't realize that you have to be flexible, um, that you have to evolve. Don't be so rigid that you miss out on good business because you refuse to evolve. Okay. And finally, what I want to talk about is balancing work, right, with your personal life. Work life balance is something that has always been huge to me, while in the corporate world and after. I recall a company that I worked for. I started in the beginning of June. My husband's birthday is the beginning of August. And there was one particular year where my husband's birthday landed on a Friday, and we had big plans on what we were going to do. And 5 o'clock hit, and I packed up my stuff, said goodbye to my staff, my manager. And my manager looked at me cross-eyed. I was like, oh, well, we've got this thing going on that has to be done. Number one, I didn't know about it because he had not communicated that to me prior to. Number two, I said to him, that's great. I'll see you Monday. It's my husband's birthday. My family means way more to me than this place ever will. And had I known this ahead of time, I could have made necessary, proper, appropriate arrangements. When I came back to work, and I proceeded to leave. When I came back the following Monday and said good morning to him, he said something along the lines of, I really am disappointed and didn't appreciate that, you left early on Friday. And I had to stop him. I said, well, first of all, I didn't leave early. I was there quite early, and I left on time. And because you failed to communicate that there was an expectation does not warrant your disappointment in me. You should be disappointed in yourself. And to be very clear, just in case you didn't hear me the first time, my family is more important than this job ever will be. So, with that being said, you might want to write out what your expectations are and any other upcoming deadlines right now and get them to me in order for us to be on the same page going forward. And the next day, he came back to me and he did just that. And he said to me, I respect what you said to me. I respect your stance. And I appreciate that you were candid enough to say it. I've never been in that predicament before because people just do it. And the bottom line is, you were right. And he proceeded to tell me a story how on that same job years before, he had a heart attack on the job and was back to work hours later the next day. I'm not that girl, right? Work-life balance is important to me. Some of the things that I do to balance work and life, even now as an entrepreneur, girls' night every month. Me and my girls have girls' night every month. We take turns choosing what we're going to do, what activity we're going to do, but every month we get together. We've done things from axe throwing to paintballing to archery. I mean, I don't think there's anything we haven't touched yet. But every month. And that time is designated for me and my girls, not being responsible for anything with my family, my husband, my kids, just me and my girls, right? Every year we have a girls' trip. I have a girls' trip coming up this weekend. We're going to be gone. And being able to do this, even as an entrepreneur, is freeing because you need time to relax, to let your hair down, to not think about work/business for a while, so that when you come back, you're regenerated, renewed, refreshed, and you can really get to it. But people who just spin their wheels doing nothing but work, 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 don't take time off for themselves, don't take time off for their money, for their family, what because they feel like they're going to be missing out on money or whatever, or they fear of being fired or fear of being replaced or fear of missing out on a promotion. Understand this from my lips to your ears. Jobs nowadays will watch you keel over, move your body over and put the next warm body in its place while they wait for the coroner to come. Don't live with regrets. Don't live with regret of, man, I missed out on all my kids' school recitals, plays, games for a job that wasn't loyal to you as you were being to it. Work-life balance is, when I tell you, so important. Not just when you're in the corporate world or wherever you work, blue collar, white collar, I don't care. Not only is it important there, but it's important as an entrepreneur because you need time to give your brain a break. Your body will tell you the hard way if you don't take the initiative to do it for yourself. Take it from me. Don't make your body tell you you need a break. It is not pretty. I'm going to say it again. Do not make your body tell you you need a break. It is not pretty. Take time for yourself, whatever that is. If taking time for yourself is sitting on your couch, eating bonbons, flipping through the channels, so be it. Whatever your thing is, find time for it. Make time for it. It's imperative to your overall health, mental, physical, and emotional. All right? Those are thoughts of a wordsmith. Thoughts of an entrepreneur for today. And I hope that what I said, even if it's just one thing, resonates with somebody out there, even if it's just one person. And I really hope that there was some enlightenment. And I hope that somebody was shaking their head like, yep, I know. I hope that there's a bunch of people out there who agree with me. I'm going to end my shows as I normally do. This time it's just me. So I'm going to let you guys know. My website, like I said, it's scrolling across the screen, www.jax, that's JAX consulting.com. Schedule your free consultation today. All right. Reach out to us. Peruse our website. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. That's JAX Consulting Services. Check us out, share, like, comment, all the stuff. Do all the stuff. Make sure you go there for the free downloadable content as well. I think you'll find a few enlightening things there for you to be able to use or share with others. Okay. We have an event coming up this Saturday, November the 9th. And it is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm going to pull it up here so you guys can see it. See the flyer for it. It's the Senior Life Resource Fair. It's for seniors and their caretakers. All right. It's going to be at the Haymarket Gainesville Library on Lightner Road. That's 14870 Lightner Road in Haymarket. Make sure you stop by. Come by and see us. Say, hey, Amanda, I saw your podcast. I saw your episode earlier this week in your podcast. And come say hello to me. Just come stop by and say hi. All right. Again, that's the Senior Resource Fair. It's for seniors and their caretakers. And I'll be there selling my financial literacy books, as well as talking to the patrons regarding budgeting and finances for their personal finances and whatnot. All right. So don't forget us. Come by and see us. All right. We'd love to say hi to you. Normally, I end by asking my guests to tell us or tell the audience either their greatest joy or their favorite quote. And I am going to share with you guys my favorite quote and my greatest joy. My favorite quote, which I'm pretty sure I've mentioned here before on Life Uncensored, Navigating Adulthood one episode at a time. And it comes from Dorothy Zbornak from On the Golden Girls, played by B. Arthur, my all-time favorite television show, The Golden Girls. The quote is, the bottom line is, if you take a chance in life, sometimes good things happen and sometimes bad things happen. But honey, if you don't take a chance, nothing happens. Take a chance on you. Don't let nothing happen. Take a chance on you. My greatest joy is my family and my friends, as I was talking about a few moments ago. My boys, my family, my friends, who are really family. My greatest joy is spending time with them, being with them, cooking for them, laughing with them, playing games with them. It's my absolute greatest joy. All right. I am going to end our show today by letting you guys know. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to life-uncensored.com. That's our website. We can be found on Instagram, LinkedIn, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. So Life Uncensored can be found on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Make sure you like, share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody. All right. If you are interested in being a guest on the show or have an idea for a show topic, please visit our website. Again, that's life-uncensored.com. Visit our website, drop us a line. We'd love to talk to you and see what ideas you have. If you would like to promote or advertise your service or product, business owners, listen up. If you would like to advertise or promote your business or products, your services or products, go to our website, drop us a line. We'd love to chat with you. That's, again, life-uncensored.com to sign up for a consultation with us regarding having your product or service advertised on our show. All right. Until we meet again, my friends, stay cool, stay well, and do something kind for someone. You never know. You might change the world by doing so. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
You ever wish you had more hands to do more stuff? Hello again. Rashid Hamid here from Extra Hands Virtual Assistants. And I've got good news.
Drum roll, please.
We've been invited back to be regular guests on your favorite podcast, Life Uncensored, navigating adulthood one episode at a time, featuring our special segment, B2B with Extra Hands, where we focus on business-to-business relationships, growing your business, and basically getting unstuck. Take it from me, productivity coach and founder of Extra Hands Virtual Assistants.
Count me in.
Our first episode is scheduled to be shot and released on December the 11th. Really excited to have you guys check it out. It's going to be an amazing thing, partnering with Amanda, partnering with Extra Hands. It was a match made in heaven, felt supernatural, and very excited to be a part of this team. You don't want to miss this.